Welcome back to GTD. That's Micah. I'm Keegan Miller, and today we have a Richmond review.
And we're back in a physical studio instead of a Zoom call.
We're back in the studio. Nothing really changed. I mean, you have some more diecast.
Yeah, Connor Zillich with some representation now.
And I have a Dale Earnhardt and Dale Jr. Little, I think they're Christmas ornaments that I just cut the little wire off to hold them up. Just some more NASCAR. Both of us have more NASCAR stuff. We need to get some more baseball and whatever else stuff, I guess.
I would get some red stuff, but they finally beat the Brewers today. But that's not today's episode.
We'll talk about all about MLB in the next episode. Make sure you check that one out. But Richmond, Austin Dillon got it done again. This time, he didn't have to kill anybody or two people. So he did it all on his own. And I think that's just a testament to how good he's been here. And, I mean, what a drive. Probably the best drive, dare I say, of his career.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I would say this is the best race of Austin Dillon's career. And for me, it's not particularly close. I would say his second best career drive isn't even one of his wins. It's the Darlington race where he started last and ended up either second or third in that race. Ran very well there. And he mentioned he feels like he's really good at these high tire wear racetracks. And with how good he is at Darlington, this performance, I'm inclined to agree with him. And I love the Lee Diffie call over the line. We're talking about, and he hit Logano and he hit Hamlin. There's no contact this year. Managed to time it right where those two things happened.
Right.
Great call as always from Lee Diffie. I can't believe there's some people that still don't like him calling NASCAR, but really impressive from Austin Dillon. And I was curious, did you see any of his press conference after the race talking about the future of RCR as an organization?
Yeah, I saw a little bit of it, and I feel like with RCR more so than any other company, maybe RFK just because they have a new owner, Brad Keselowski recently, but we kind of talk about what Richard Childress says about the future of the company or what some of the drivers say or even just the media. Like we're always talking about where RCR is now, but where they'll be in a few years. And every time some driver or owner or someone says something, the whole media gets like a different reaction and a different outlook on what's happening.
Yeah, I was actually very intrigued this time, though. Austin Dillon was talking about it. He said, there are some things that my grandfather wants to do with the company. There's some things that I want him to change that he just seems unsure. And that's got me thinking, when Richard Childress eventually either steps away or passes away, and it'll probably be, you would have to imagine Austin Dillon in part of a leadership role for RCR.
I mean, they've already moved him in the Xfinity series to kind of be a leader.
Yeah, so what if the future of RCR is Austin and Ty Dillon as co-owners? I think that could actually be what gives that team a jolt back to where it needs to be, because Austin Dillon's actual eye for talent is pretty good. Yeah. Like, you look at the drivers that he's brought in, they're pretty solid drivers into the development program. So I think maybe it might take until you see the Dillon brothers, or at least Austin, in charge of RCR. But it's the first time I felt optimistic about their future since a couple years ago when Kyle Busch won the 3 races.
Yeah, but who knows how far in the future that is. And this isn't as bad as like a Jerry Jones situation for the Dallas Cowboys when it's just like it's been time to be done and he just hangs on and hangs on and hangs on until he just drives the program into the ground. I don't think this is that bad. I think there could be a point where it gets there and someone has to someone very close to Richard goes, "Hey man, it's time to move on. You built a great thing. You did wonderful stuff, but the way we built stuff and the way we raced and the way we did things in the past is just completely different than what it is now."
Yeah, because it just isn't working.
Yeah, I mean, you've seen that with teams, 23XI's, Trackhouse, all these newer teams doing things completely different and having success doing Aspire just this season and the way they've kind of come into form and done it. But, I mean, speaking of Aspire, Carson Hocevar.
Yeah.
Had what looked to be, I mean, he had a slightly different strategy than everyone else and had what looked to be, a strategy that could pay off big time for him.
He lost about, I want to say 10 to 12 seconds between he missed pit road his first stop of that stint, then the other 2 stops, the final stint, his car fell off the jack on each time. Yeah. I'm trying to find the gap, how far it doesn't show me on the NASCAR website how far he finished behind the leader, but he was on the lead lap. So Carson Hocevar, I think, big missed opportunity for him. But talking about those extra stops, how about this tire from Goodyear? They brought the option tire back as the right sides and had a slightly different compound on the left sides, but there was fall off. You could pass guys on the same tires. You saw it with Bowman and Blaney late in the race. Yep. Some great racing. Is the action track back at Richmond?
I think so, but I think what this proved is I think it just showed that what this tire does, the last few races, every driver has been on the exact same strategy pretty much the last 5 races that we've had on the schedule. And this one, if we didn't have this tire, every guy would be on the same strategy because there wouldn't be no managing. There's nothing like that. But now that the tire does have fall off and you can, drive a little slower, make them last longer. You can burn them faster and, lose a set later in the race. It made different strategies. We just talked about Hocevar's different strategy. But, it's great to see when you have a strategy race because it feels like over the summer we've had either a strategy race or good racing. And Richmond put both together where you had good strategy.
Well, it's because it was tire strategy and not fuel strategy.
Right.
Where you go, let's run half throttle because no one can pass.
Yeah, and then let's also say he's out of fuel with 20 laps to go, and then he does a burnout. And then
back up to him.
And then he drives
back up to him.
He drives the
back
cup
up
car
to him.
back to his house in Charlotte after the race.
Yeah.
I mean, but yeah, the tire is great. I loved it last year. I love it again. Why aren't we running it more? What tracks would y'all like to see it at? What tracks would you like to see them at?
I think every short track, this needs to be the tire, especially a championship race at Phoenix with this tire.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. You want to make Phoenix actually entertaining? Bring this tire. I don't think it'll work at the intermediate. I think it just wears too much for the force on those corners. But still, you don't have to make the tire at the intermediates a brick. Just make it a slightly harder version to where it can cope with those forces. I don't know. I'm not a tire engineer, so we'll leave that to Goodyear. Because Goodyear, when they are asked to be aggressive with it, they're doing a good job with it. But on the flip side of that, people not doing a good job, let's talk about 23XI. And what started off so well, like if you go through the stage results here, stage 1, Tyler Reddick won stage 1 with Bubba Wallace coming home second in stage 1. And then in stage 2, Bubba Wallace won the stage. Now, where did Tyler Reddick go, you might ask? Tyler Reddick got shipped by a Daniel Suarez incident. Daniel Suarez hit Ty Gibbs, and Ty Gibbs went up into Reddick, spun Reddick around. Reddick hit the wall. Day was essentially done from that point, and then his teammate, Bubba Wallace, proceeds to keep leading the race, dominating from that point, comes down pit road. They don't get the front left tire falls off. He has to stop in the 19 pit box, gets penalized down multiple laps. So I think there's a very strong case to be made that even with how fast Austin Dillon was, the quickest two cars in this race were the two 23XI Toyotas. Yes, I know there were two other ones in the race, but like one's a guy making his first Richmond start, and the other is, don't even get me started on Riley Herbst. But very, very good pace for 23XI and just completely wasted.
Yeah, and I mean, so we've seen this pace out of Bubba Wallace, especially, I mean, we saw at the beginning of the season when he's off to that hard start, and then we're seeing it the last
Ever
few
since the
weeks.
Brickyard, he's been on fire.
Right, he's been incredible. And I mean, before the Brickyard, we were talking about everything going on with 23XI. Them losing their ride and the court cases.
And they're doing this as open. They're an open team right now doing this.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't know. It's almost like,
well, they say winning fixes everything. And
right, but I'm trying to give more props, especially to Bubba Wallace, to be doing what he's doing in a program that's.
Oh yeah, he's having a career season.
I mean, if there's the rule book in NASCAR, we know isn't as black and white as any other sport. So we know if there's two cars in the tech shed and one's a Hendrick car or a Gibbs car and the one's 23XI car, which one do you think they're gonna like fade
really
the rules
pick
on?
apart?
Yeah. So I mean, Bubba Wallace won, and they had to tech him and everything, and just the way that they're doing everything is incredible right now, especially Bubba Wallace. I think Tyler Reddick he's got the ability, obviously.
Yeah, this was, I think, on pure speed, this is the best Tyler Reddick has looked since all the way back at COTA when he almost won that race.
Yeah.
This is the closest he's had to a race-winning car since then, and just, it's so frustrating because so many times here we talked about, well, Reddick's car looks good at the start, and then, he fades, or the team makes the wrong adjustments. That didn't happen. He just got taken out in someone else's mess, and as a Tyler Reddick fan watching that race, which, by the way this happened, the exact same second that Tyler Reddick spun out and hit the wall, my Reds got walked off they lost the lead to the Brewers in extra innings. So that was a horrible 5 seconds for me. And I'm now really concerned because you go into Daytona this week, Tyler Reddick is 29 points ahead of Alex Bowman. And so if Reddick gets in a stage 1 crash that Bowman's not in and we get a new winner, Reddick's out of the playoffs.
Yeah,
which is stupid.
Alex Bowman has the highest average finish at Daytona, barring one-offs and things like that.
And Tyler Reddick is 7th in the regular season points. He is 7th. It's Martin Truex from a couple years ago all over again, where you're one of the best cars all year long, although I wouldn't say Reddick's been to that extent. But still, he's the top 23XI car in points. He's the highest non-JGR Toyota. He's above all the Penske cars except Blaney. The only cars he's behind the points are 2 JGR Toyotas, Ryan Blaney, and 3/4 of the Hendrick Motorsports shop. And that guy could miss the playoffs if he gets in trouble in stage 1 at Daytona.
Yeah. I mean, we'll talk more about this in our Daytona preview, especially with, what would happen if he were to get jumped, or if we had a new winner, or if Alex Bowman just went out and did his thing, or even if, we'll talk about it more in Daytona in our preview episode. But yeah, I hope for the sport this guy doesn't miss the playoffs.
I hope for the sport he does miss the playoffs, even as a Reddick fan. It'll make your format look even more stupid.
That is true, but
and then did you see the tweet?
Did
see the tweet today from the Mamba Smith guy on Twitter that was like,
Yeah.
"Well, the point of this isn't the point of a championship isn't to crown the best driver." What are you talking about? What's the point of a championship then? Is it just let's go out there and have fun?
Well, for NASCAR, it's to make money, and that's who he works for. So,
Like, oh man.
but all right, back to Richmond.
Yeah, Penske was
yeah.
good. Finished 3 cars in the top 5. I believe, Ryan Blaney 3rd, Joey Logano 4th, Austin Cindric 5th. Logano did it from the back of the field. I thought Ryan Blaney was going to win this race for a bit because he looked right there with Dillon, but then I don't know if it was just a bad final set of tires. They made the wrong adjustment. He just went backward on that last stint. Didn't get out there in front of Dillon because Dillon pit first, and then Alex Bowman hawked him down, got by. And then Austin Cindric coming home a very solid 5th and ran top 5 all day. I was very impressed with the 2-car.
Yeah, no, the Austin Cindric, I mean, he's almost, he doesn't have to win like Bubba Wallace, but the last few weeks, he's been there. Like, he's just.
He ran top 5 a lot of the day at Iowa, too.
Yeah,
Short, flat ovals.
He's kind of just been there. And coming into Daytona, a track where Fords are great, Penske's even better, he's got to win. He won Talladega earlier this year. Going to Daytona, I mean,
and
he could be getting hot at the very right time.
It's not even like he's a million miles off Logano in the points either. He's only 3 positions back of Logano in points, currently in top 15
as we know
points.
now,
he's solid.
Points don't matter.
Yeah, but still,
it's the playoffs now.
It's a good metric of how you're doing over the season.
Yeah, but it's the playoffs now, and he's at the bottom of he's 12th in playoff points. But if he goes wins Daytona, that bumps him up a little bit, and not only the points. We talk about this all the time in this sport. Momentum. When you're hot, and you play the hot hand. I mean, Joey Logano. Do we have to say? Need I say more?
Yeah.
I mean, his teammate did it last year. Won Atlanta. I think was Atlanta the first race in the playoffs last year. Yeah.
Yeah.
Atlanta won the first race in the playoffs last year in Atlanta and ended up winning the championship. So I mean, it could be. I mean, for Bubba Wallace and Austin Cindric.
I think it was the second actually. It was the second.
Okay.
Yeah, because Bristol was the 3rd, and they were back-to-back. Anyway, no one cares. Moving on from that, let's talk about Kyle Busch, and by extension, the regular season points championship. Now, you may be thinking, how is Kyle Busch involved with the regular season points championship? He's been terrible. Well, you're correct. He's 16th in points. And for whatever reason, down the backstretch, just decided, I'm done with this race.
Yeah.
And ran into Chase Briscoe, and then ran up, and then got through the wreck. He was like, I'm through the wreck. And just took out Chase Elliott. Not intentionally. I don't think it was intentional at all.
No,
just
no.
wasn't paying attention. And Chase Elliott gets hooked across, flies into the outside wall. Had a really good car, too.
Yeah.
And I thought Chase Elliott was one of the contenders for a top 5 finish in that race. I thought he was very quick.
I would have been very excited to see a William Byron Chase Elliott finale at Daytona because William Byron excellent at Daytona. Chase Elliott is it's Chase Elliott.
Good at not getting wrecked out of things.
Right. He's always there at the end of Daytona. Now sometimes on the last lap he makes some wrong moves, but like Atlanta, just won Atlanta.
Yeah.
So I mean that would have been awesome to see. And, I mean, Chase Elliott did his best to try and take William Byron with him when he got wrecked.
That was funny.
So he did try to be like,
and then,
no, we're taking this next week.
Rudy Fugel was mad at the 9 car for some reason on the radio. Yeah, I can only assume he hadn't seen what had happened at that point. But, so that was a weird incident. And then Kyle Busch goes on his merry way after that. I believe, did he end up with a top 10? No, he fell back down late. He ended up 16th because, of course, he did. But
I'm sure there'll be a Samantha Busch TikTok about it. You can watch.
I don't even want to know what's going on with that. But the point is, since Chase Elliott was taken out by Kyle Busch, William Byron is your regular season champion for the season. Yep. For a lot of the summer, it looked like it was Chase Elliott's to take, and then the last couple of weeks with the outside the top 20 run at Watkins Glen because for some reason they just whiffed on the setup completely.
Yep.
And then now getting taken out, finishing last at Richmond, it's William Byron for the regular season title. And I believe, is it 15 playoff points you get for that?
I don't.
Or is it 10?
It's some. I don't. It's not 10 or 15. It's some odd number. It's like.
Is it like 17?
It's a NASCAR number.
Oh. Maybe it's 16. You get. I don't know. Anyway, we talked about regular season champion, and now to talk about a guy who's been a champion of a specific track so far with Shane Van Gisbergen, and I was very impressed with the 88 today.
15. You get 15 playoff points.
You get 15 playoff points. And Shane Van Gisbergen, almost speaking of 15, came home 14th in this one. Top 15 at an oval, at a difficult oval, and he did it by running the wall for some reason. He was just chilling in the very top lane at Richmond all night long, was not. I guess it's ripping the boards. It's just much slower than other places.
Yeah.
He was doing his own thing up there, and it seemed to be working because he was passing cars.
We know from just his racing ability in general, but also his road course wins. The guy knows how to save tires. The guy knows how to manage tires. The guy knows how to save tires. And at Richmond, especially with the new tire that they had, I mean, hey, he can save tires still. I mean, shocking. The racing skills are racing skills. But yeah, I hope because the guy's got 4 wins 4 wins this year.
Yeah.
So he's got a lot of playoff bubble. He's probably gonna make it past the first round if he can just stay out of trouble. And then you have the Roval. So if he makes a deep run, I just hope that it's not solely off of winning the Roval and having that. I hope he has some good performances at ovals.
The broadcast mentioned, I know you weren't always able to be tuned in with it on Saturday, but the broadcast mentioned that over the last few years, you've needed an average finish of about 17th to move on in the first round.
Yeah.
And that's about right on the edge of what I think SVG can do right now. I think the fact that it's a couple short, flat ovals does help him because I think those are the ovals he's best at. And it'll be Gateway and New Hampshire in the first round. So I think he does have a chance. I think he'll be okay. And another group I wanted to mention, missed opportunity for RFK this weekend. You had Ryan Preece starting on the pole, and I don't know what they did with that car, but it felt like they made it worse every single pit stop. They missed the strategy, something.
Backwards.
He flew backward this entire race and ended up finishing 35th.
Yeah.
Which it didn't I don't know if he got caught up in the Kyle Busch wreck, I missed it, but until then at least he was getting steadily slower and further back as the race went on. And he led the entire the first cycle until the pit stops happened, pretty much. So that strategy did not work out. You had Chris Buescher come home 30th at a track that he's usually pretty good at. Brad Keselowski did have a solid day coming home 9th. But for RFK now, unless you win at Daytona, you don't make the playoffs at all.
Yeah, and all 3 cars.
At team standings, too, average finish by team. Hendrick is top, then Gibbs, and then RFK has the 3rd best team average finish of any team, and they could miss the playoffs entirely.
I mean, it's weird. So Chris Buescher got off to the really hot start at the beginning of the year. Ryan Preece was always just kind of hanging out there. We've talked about Brad Keselowski ad nauseum this year with his abysmal start and then slowly picked it up.
If the 6 team could have figured out how to build a car for the first 3 months of the season, I think he's in on points right now.
Oh, I think so too. I mean, we've seen him put together some incredible drives this season, but RFK's they've been weird all year. They're almost like a less consistent version of Chase Elliott from last year. They're always kind of there, but not winning.
They run 12th every week.
Right. So it's like, and then when they don't run 12th, like they kind of creep up and like Chris Buescher. We've seen Chris Buescher flirt in the top 5 a lot of races this year and then end up finishing 8th and back.
And it's not like they're bad either. Like Buescher has had 4 top 5s this year. Preece has had 3. Buescher has 12 top 10s. Preece has 10. Keselowski has 8 top 10s and actually 4 top 5s, so just as many as Buescher. But the issue is they're 11th, 13th, and 19th in points. And you might think, well, don't you get 16 spots? Well, let me introduce you to Ross Chastain,
SVG.
Austin Cindric, Josh Berry, SVG, and Mr. Austin Dillon. Which, if you look at the point standings now, 22nd, Josh Berry, 24th, SVG, 25th, Austin Dillon. So everyone complaining that SVG is just... he doesn't deserve a spot at all because he's a road course merchant. How about you look at the guy 2 spots ahead of him and 1 spot behind him now who are also in the playoffs?
Yeah, that's exactly. But speaking of RFK still, we're going to Daytona. They can very easily snag a playoff spot.
Buescher has wins here recently in the summer race. Keselowski is always great at the plate tracks.
And Ryan Preece, as long as Ryan Preece doesn't end up in the stands, then, he could have a shot.
I saw someone say that Brad's going to cause the sport ender this weekend, trying to get one of the RFK cars into the playoffs, which I can definitely see happening.
Yeah, no, I mean, I would love to see an RFK car. I would especially love to see Chris Buescher for personal
Dude,
reasons.
I forgot he's your championship
I'd
pick.
love to see Chris
Oh my
Buescher
gosh,
in
imagine
the
he
playoffs.
misses the playoffs entirely.
Yeah. Yeah,
And you were making fun of me for my Chase Briscoe in the Final Four pick.
Imagine. Yeah, that looks a lot better than Chase Briscoe or Chris
Chase
Buescher.
Briscoe Chase Briscoe is 3rd in the Cup Series in top 5s right now at 10. He's been on fire.
Yeah. Anyways, we'll talk more about our championship picks when we get there.
So if you want to know which side of the table knows wheel, it's this side.
Dude, you know what's terrible? This is the end of the regular season. Daytona is the last race of the regular season, and we have 1 correct pick this year.
I have 3. What are you talking
You have
about?
3?
Yeah.
Oh, how many of them are SVG?
2.
Okay. We have 1 oval win.
Actually,
whole
no,
season.
one of them's No, because I
You
have
had- you
four.
had
I have
Denny Hamlin.
four.
I know you had
Yeah,
Denny Hamlin.
I have four, not three. Because one's Denny Hamlin at Dover, where we didn't
Yeah.
have an episode, but we made the graphics. So that one we decided does count. Two of mine are SVG, and my other one was Christopher Bell's third consecutive win.
Oh yeah. So SVG.
And
Yes,
Joe
I
Gibbs
guess,
Racing.
I guess those count, and then Joe Gibbs. But
Hey, even with that SVG, I got two more than you.
that's true. I did win last year though. I think I won like by 2 last year.
Yeah,
we'll see.
so I'm
There's plenty of-
evening the series.
Plenty of racing left, and Chris Buescher is still winning the championship. Mark my words. He's gonna get hot at the right time. He's gonna
Yeah,
win,
dude,
He's gonna win
he's-
Daytona. Then he's gonna win. We'll call it Bristol. Then he's gonna win Talladega, and then he's gonna win Las Vegas, and then he's gonna win Phoenix.
If that all happens, I would be very surprised.
This will be a TikTok short if that happens.
Yeah, that would be. We'd have to put that on TikTok for sure.
Yeah.
But we're kind of talking about nothing now, so about time to wrap up this Richmond review episode. Thank y'all for tuning in. We'll have a preview for Daytona out later this week. We'll have something
The
yeah,
Daytona.
no F1 this week. We'll come back next week with some mid-season driver rankings. That's just our opinion, not like point standings.
Yep.
We are getting into college football this week as the season's almost here, so look out for the college football episode dropping this week, and then we will have our MLB episode where I'll be severely depressed, and Keegan will be trying to convince y'all that PCA might still win the MVP somehow.
No, I won't even.
Okay,
don't
good.
even-
Keegan won't stop doing that
I'm
anymore.
going to convince you that the government needs to study the Brewers and find out what's happening and how they're
Yeah.
doing this. Because I want some of that magic in my life.
That needs to be our MLB episode. Is just 15 minutes of us complaining about the Brewers. But if you want to see that, you can tune
Conspiracy
in
theories.
later this week. For now, that's been Keegan. I've been Micah. Good to be back in the studio. Good to be back face-to-face recording these for y'all. Do subscribe if you like the content. Check out the videos later this week, and we'll see y'all next time.